they'll be like, it's International White Men's Day. That's what they'll say.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I love being a privileged white male.
Why do I feel like I'm about to be offended?
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
This is interesting. Now, have you been following International Women's Day?
I mean, I saw it on the basketball this morning.
I follow it in my own personal way. There's a website which is largely orange and black. I like to celebrate International Women's Day my own way, in solitude by myself. But Lady Gaga, huh?
What did you do for Tina?
Nothing.
Oh.
It's all about me on International Women's Day. I thought that was the whole purpose. But International Women's Day.
Do we actually have an International Men's Day?
If we do, it's certainly nothing that is advertised.
I guarantee you someone will be like, you have a day every day. It's Men's Day every day. They've been running this world, blah, 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 blah.
You know what? They'll be like, it's International White Men's Day. That's what they'll say.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I love being a privileged white male.
But Lady Gaga has recently come under fire. I'll see if I can get this up for doing a photo shoot.
She was with that Dylan Mulvaney, wasn't she?
That's right. They did for International Women's Day. They did
yeah.
Exactly. I'll see if I can present this because I find it hilarious.
I rolled and just kept on scrolling when I saw that.
I'll bring it up, guys, so you guys can see this. For those of you who aren't aware, Dylan Mulvaney is a American influencer.
He's a dude.
He's a dude, exactly. He is a dude, and he has gone on to ruin Bud Light and Nike and several other companies with his mere presence.
Oh, just a heads up for him. If he wants to jump over Doritos, I heard Doritos are now getting those kind of people to promote and do their ads. So there might be a spot over there for you there, mate.
Exactly. Well, yeah, they had that Spanish influencer who's a real nutcase. I'll see if I can share this real quick. All right, there we go. You can see right there. Can't believe I full screened that.
I promise you, if you put your mind to it and you work hard,
they're going to kiss.
You do not listen to the
I don't know. I don't know if that's his strategy.
Anything that life throws your way.
All right, there you go. I'm just going to quickly close this before I vomit. That was literally for International Women's Day. The post said, Happy International Women's Day. Here's my thing. This kind of like, the best women out there are really men kind of thing is a bit scary to think about.
There's so many women that are empowering that should be forefront of something like this, that do so much for the movement, that do so much for the community, and you go put a dude. Like, come on. Like, surely it has to be to spark a problem and bring more eyes to it. It has to be. I mean, when you do this, it makes people go, hey, that's not right. And there's more eyes on there and more people are disputing it and stuff like that. And it draws more attention. That's the only thing it can be, because if it wasn't, I mean, International Women's Day kind of would have just skimmed them by. No offense. But do you know what I mean? They would have done that, blah, blah, blah. And no one would have said boo. People would have been, okay, cool. But you go do something like this and put a dude in there or whatever, and all of a sudden it causes a ruckus. It causes debate. It causes divide. And then all of a sudden you have more eyes on that sector. So, I mean,
it's in the news, people talking about it. Even we're talking about it. There was some good this last week. There are two good things that happened this last week. Leah Thomas, or William Thomas, the American college swimmer, a dude who would walk around the female change rooms naked, would sleep with female swimmers, and then also go on to absolutely obliterate world records with his swimming ability. He has been banned from competing. So that's a positive for real women out there. And also, Haley Davidson, I don't know the real name. Haley Davidson, a man switched to a woman, was ranked something like 400 in the world in golf, and transitioned, and all of a sudden wins tournaments, has been banned from the Women's Pro Tour.
Good.
Again,
time people come to their senses.
Exactly. We're not here to say that all trans people are bad, but we are not blind. We know that transitioning will give an advantage.
It's simple. You have male, you have female, right? If you would like to compete still at an event, right, and you don't want to compete with dudes anymore because you feel like you're a woman, right, then you need to activate and to petition for another league, like an open league, like a transgender league, just an open league where it doesn't matter. Something totally different. Leave the men alone, leave the women alone, and create another league. I'm fine with that. But you go mixing and matching, just enough.
You know what's craziest about that? And I'm going to say something that I believe to be 100% factual. If there was a trans league where you've got, men to women, women to men, whatever, the craziest thing about that is you think
still have to divide.
The people who are born men would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the people who are born women would be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's not me saying the women are bad. It's just they have completely different power levels, skill levels, muscle fiber levels. Everything's different, which is why there is female leagues, because we want them to be able to succeed, but we just know there is a massive fundamental difference, which is why men traditionally were hunters and women were, the people that were at home, the people who.
And look, I can recognize and say, look, women have it a lot tougher as well, right? So they're not physically as strong and gifted in those areas, so it would be harder for them. They don't have as much testosterone, so it's harder for them to build the adequate muscle, speed, strength, right? And also, they've got to go through pregnancy as well. So if they want to have a baby, right, all of a sudden you've got at least, I would say like a 2-year window where she's got to have the baby, like get pregnant, right, carry the baby, have the baby, then recover from all the the surgery or the natural stuff, and then get back to where she was. So I'd say that's at least 2 years that you're behind the eight ball of your peak, where you were peak. So when you've got that competing as well, it's harder for them. It is.
Yeah, and which is why you need to kind of have the two leagues, because people like to at least celebrate the things that women do very, very well, which is why certain female sports can sometimes be more compelling. Women's tennis is probably more compelling than the men's tennis for me. I not because of the visual or audio spectacle of it, but because they compete just as hard as the men. You can watch it and you can be entertained. Women's football, not so much. Women's basketball, not so much. But the women that should be going to support the women leagues aren't supporting the women's leagues. But look at this. Women's tennis, men and women flock to women's tennis. So there are these massive differences that people just need to recognize, in my opinion. So International Women's Day, a farce yet again, but two good things are coming out of it. And I think people are starting to, the woke crowd are starting to awaken to the reality. International Women's Day is a farce again. Thank you for watching Glass Culture Podcast. If you liked this video, click here to subscribe. If you want to see the full podcast, click here.